here is a proof that history repeats itself. So in today's world, I would say,
report by the Policy Planning Staff on position of the United States with respect to Palestine.
This is absolute insanity, all right? This is exactly the same kind of assessment the United States has to this day, just replaced the Jews with the Druze and Palestine with Syria.
The partition of Palestine might afford the USSR a pretext on the basis of self-determination of minorities to encourage the
partition of areas in Iraq, Iran, Turkey, and Greece, with a view of setting up separate Kurdish, Azerbaijani, Armenian, and Macedonian states. Out of all of them, we are kind of missing on the Kurds. It's in the to-do list, it seems. U.S. prestige in the Muslim world has suffered a severe blow.
Our vital interests in those areas will continue to be adversely affected to the extent that we continue to support partition.
While the governments in Arab countries have partially succeeded in restraining demonstration against the Jews, now aka the Druze, partially succeeded within their borders. In the case of open conflict, major massacres of Jews in Muslim countries would seem to be inevitable. Jews back then, Druze now, shouldn't be protecting themselves, basically. You know, the unification of made-up entities is more important than the life of actual human beings. Therefore, Jews should not be allowed to purchase guns to defend themselves or group to defend themselves or have any kind of outside support. We should oppose sending armed forces into Syria by the UN or any member thereof for the purpose of implementing partition. We should also oppose the recruitment of volunteers for this purpose. So Druze and Jews, right? The same logic is also applied to the Druze today. We can see that there is a pattern in thinking. So in 1948, the Americans had an intelligence assessment that the Jews, both in the Muslim world, right, and in Israel, everywhere in the Middle East, are about to go complete annihilation, all right? A couple of years after the Holocaust. Their response to that was to claim that the Arabs and the Jews have a genocidal mindset, meaning while their intelligence assessment clearly stated that it is the Arabs who are calling for a complete annihilation of Jews all over the Middle East.
I had to make a compromise with the Arabs and divide Palestine. The Jews wanted to chase all the Arabs into the Tigris and Euphrates River, and the Arabs wanted to chase all the Jews into the Red Sea. And what I was trying to do was to find a homeland for the Jews and still be just with the Arabs.
And yet, here's the statement that Tolman made, saying that, oh yeah, they want the same, right? Prior to Israel's independence war, this is what the Arab leader Abd al-Rahman al-Zam had declared. This will be a war of extermination, a momentous massacre which will be spoken of like the Tartar massacre or the Crusader Wars. And in 1947-1948, Truman should have known that the Arabs had literally declared their intent of genocide out loud, and the Jews had never said so. In the contrary, they constantly called for peace. All right, which is very similar to the claim that, now we had with the Druze and the Bedouins trying to say that, yeah, there are the clashes, right? They are the same.
Yeah, it's complicated, obviously. These are historic, long-time rivalries between different groups in the southwest of Syria, Bedouins, the Druze community, and it led to an unfortunate situation and a misunderstanding, it looks like, between the Israeli side and the Syrian side. So we've been engaged with them all morning long and all night long with both sides, and we think we're on our way towards a real de-escalation and then hopefully get back on track in helping Syria build a country and arriving at a situation there in the Middle East is far more stable. So in the next few hours, we hope to see some real progress to end what you've been seeing over the last couple hours.
And very fast, I think it's now clear for any person with a brain, and that clearly the Druze, they just wanted to slaughter all of them. But when Israel attacked Syria, right, the United States didn't accuse Israel of a genocide either, which is what Reagan did when Israel bombed Beirut. Why? Because they tried to genocide the Christians. The amount of times American presidents had proposed that Israel is trying to conduct a genocide, even though there was no genocide, out loud in the public is insane, knowing full well that there is a real risk of genocide for the Christians, for example, in Lebanon, and the Jews in Israel from the Arab Muslim side, so that they would have a choice on who to side with, those who want to commit genocide and those who don't. They would pretty often propose that idea that Israel is somehow trying to commit a genocide based on zero truth, just so that they can be neutral. Kid you not. Check this out.
I remember one night, I think I was around 13 years old, one of our militiamen stopped by and he said, Brigitte, I just want you to know that we are surrounded to be slaughtered tonight. We heard a lot of chatter on the radio, and I don't think we're going to last because we lost a lot of men. We don't have enough to defend the town. And he said, if I don't see you tomorrow, I wish you a merciful death. And he gave me a hug and left. That's the night when Israel came in physically into Lebanon.
Listen, like Reagan literally told Begin, which was the prime minister of Israel at the time, he called the bombing, he called it a Holocaust. Mind you, those are people who still remember the Holocaust, and it wasn't just their, as in they lived in that period. And, okay, you can say whatever you want. I know it's crazy. But going from a situation where a couple of years after being slaughtered, the world is more than mentally prepared to see you get slaughtered again, which is a lot of people are right now as well, right?
The Arab aim was the extinction of Israel. They would mock the very idea that a Jewish state could arise against the Arab will.
January 19th, 1948. Although a jihad, holy war, against the Jews of Palestine has been proclaimed by Muslim leaders in most of the Arab states and has been joined by Christian leaders in Syria, the U.S. has suspended authorization for the export of arms, ammunition, and other war material intended for use in Palestine or in neighboring countries.
Israel, less than 1 day old, was being attacked not by untrained volunteers, but by the armies of 6 sovereign Arab states, well-trained and lavishly equipped with British and French weaponry. The combined Arab armies had 35,000 men with modern armor and artillery.
The Jewish army, men, women, and high school students who face the Arab onslaught are mainly civilians, poorly equipped, barely trained, using faith and determination against overwhelming odds.
And then to the US president calling bombing on a terror group a Holocaust, while those groups also try to genocide Christians for real.
And my parents said to me, when they come to slaughter us tonight, we will create a distraction. We just want you to run towards the Israeli border and don't look back. See, we knew we lived 5 kilometers from the Israeli border, and we knew if we run to the Jews and beg for help, the Jews are not going to slaughter us because we had more shared values with them than we had with the Muslims. Any friend we ever had or anybody that cared about us was Israel, not Lebanon. The Lebanese government didn't care about us. The rest of the world forgot about us. I remember my father in the beginning of the war, and he would say, France is going to come see what's happening to the Christians in Lebanon because of all the Palestinian massacres against the Christians. My daddy would say, France is going to come. And nobody came. America's going to come. Canada's going to come. Australia's going to come. And the world forgot about us.
But God damn it. You know what? I don't think we can take it for granted, right? So everybody like in the 80s, a couple of years after the Holocaust, what changed? Nothing changed. Maybe now it just looks like louder because Israel is winning. the methods grow more desperate.
The voice of my peoples that has suffered so quite enough and a lot in the hands of jihadist government of the country of Sudan. The government of Sudan in 1983 decided to declare jihad on infidels. Those happen to be Christians in the southern part of the country. From that time until 2008, the government of Sudan slaughtered 2 million southern Sudanese Christians in the name of jihad.
Israeli government was the first country in the world who came and assist southern Sudanese who was fighting the governments of Sudan, which is terrorizing and enslaving southern Sudanese. It slaughtered 1.5 million at that time. The total after the Second War is 4 million, but at that time 1.5 million. The only country in the world came and assist southern Sudanese to give them a weapon to defend themselves is the state of Israel.
South Sudan and Israel on Tuesday expressed their commitments to strengthen bilateral cooperation in the field of agriculture and health.
Israel has been actually supporting the people of South Sudan, especially in the field of education, field of agriculture, field of health. And these are the issues that we actually discuss today. And we believe that we will continue in these areas to support the students and the people of South Sudan in the field of agriculture. And also there are Israeli organizations that also came to support the people of South Sudan. Galilee Institute also, which has already signed an MOU with the Minister of Higher Education, Science and Technology.
We are trying as much as we can to help with capacity building in South Sudan. I spoke to the Minister specifically about what we have been doing in the last year regarding space sciences. Not space sciences to be an astronaut, but space sciences to utilize, even exploit space for development, economic and social development in the country, whether it is helping regarding droughts, disease, fires, wildfires, agriculture.
People of the nation, we have to put it very clear. People of Southern Sudan today are very proud of the contribution of Americans by having peace and bringing peace to that country. Then why Americans have to walk away from them?
We just lived through something so similar, and yet Israel's position is so different, whether we realize it or not. All right, everybody, like, comment, subscribe. Please support this channel if you can. I have Buy Me Coffee, Patreon, PayPal, whatever. Super thanks, chats, whatever, everything is so important so that I could keep doing what I'm doing. So thank you guys. See you later. Oh my God.